Hello, friends. Hi, how are you? Welcome back to Clickbait, a podcast where we take complicated internet information and we boil it down to easily digestible dialogue. If you use a phone or a computer, or maybe you were considering joining a social platform, have you heard of those? Well, this is the podcast for you. You're in the right place. Before we dive into our week in review, I have a bone to pick with you, Australia. Why are you sleeping on Pinterest? Why? At a time where the internet and the world seems to be at its most divisive, its most scary, politicized, nasty, harsh, strange, you get it, place, I think what Australia needs, I think what the world needs, women in particular, is a platform where they can hop on and think positively about the future. Wouldn't that be nice? To just dive into a channel and then you walk away feeling optimistic about what's to come. Come on, is that promising or not? Pinterest is a planning platform, a search network, right? And it allows you to be inspired by something you might want to do in the future. So you log on and you just imagine your life in a more glamorous, crafty, exciting way. And for some strange reason, Pinterest ranks the 16th most popular social platform in Australia. That's behind Flickr, TripAdvisor, Tinder, Tumblr, Twitter. What even are those platforms? Of course, it's going to be behind Facebook and YouTube. I get that. But we have all these really exciting opportunities to be in a better mental place. And you're just throwing it against the wall. So for consumers, it's a no-brainer. You just sign up right now. You can do that while you're listening to this podcast. Grab a glass of wine and then just make some boards and start planning. Plan your life. Use the time that you're already using to scroll through Instagram and just plan your next holiday party or your next hens event. Do it. You will love it, I guarantee. For brands, it's actually not that big of a challenge either. Are you interested in reaching women? Oh, well, that's perfect because they're 2/3 of the entire platform. Are you keen to get your audience to take a desired action? Well, perfect. 98% of Pinterest users go out and try ideas they find on Pinterest. That's compared to 71% on other social platforms. Are you hearing the words coming out of my mouth? 98% of people go onto the platform and then they try the idea that they just saw. Most marketers on Facebook and Instagram would be desperate for that. Would you like people to buy your products? Is that something you're interested in? Marketer selling something? Well, perfect, because 93% of users go onto Pinterest to plan, research, or to make decisions about the products they want to buy. I'm going to keep going because I'm so inspired by this. Do you want to get ahead of the standard holiday rush, right? We always have to market something on a platform in a specific window before a consumer might want to buy it. Well, that is just amazing. Lucky for you, pinners tend to start searching twice as early as the standard consumer on another platform. That means, because it's a planning platform, right? 3 months ahead of the party, they're thinking about what they want to do for their big Halloween banquet or whatever they're working on. That is so inspiring. I'm not going to continue because I think you get the point. That's enough of me rambling. But what I want you to do is join Pinterest today, okay? Just do it. Let's dive into the week in review, shall we? Topic number 1. How much do adults really know about digital media? So the majority of people say, understandably, that they're concerned about Facebook. And I am too, right? With all those data breaches and that massive political scandal known as Cambridge Analytica that has threatened the security of every country over the course of the last year. But guess what? Those people who say they're so concerned don't actually know what Facebook really is. So listen to this. A Pew Research study in America that talked to 4,000 Americans asked adults about a plethora of different digital subjects, and 71% of them did not know that Facebook owned Instagram or WhatsApp. What? I love more than anything in the world people who complain about something but don't actually understand the subject at all. It's just like fun for them to kind of bitch about things. If you're afraid of Facebook, you should do some research into the platform. You can't love yourself some Instagram posts and then struggle obsessively with the Facebook brand and the business and what they're doing wrong, because it's the same darn thing. Let's move on. Subject 2, do we care about Disney Plus? I'm just going to jump right in and say, yes, we definitely care about Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is about to launch in November. The 12th, the company has released a bunch of information via their Twitter account. We're going to be seeing a ton of new Disney originals. We're going to have access to Marvel, Pixar, National Geographic, Lucasfilms, which is Star Wars, if you were hiding under a rock for the last decade. So we can expect the classics, of course, which is why I am so obsessed with the potential of the platform. But the question is, are you going to be willing to fork over some more cash? Is that something you're going to want to add to your monthly expenditures when you're already paying for Netflix and you're already paying for Amazon Prime or Hulu or whatever you're using? My feeling is Netflix top tier offering is fantastic, but when you're a parent and you have children that you'd like to introduce to the classics you grew up on, this is really going to become the only channel that you have, the real opportunity for you to introduce them to that. So for $8.99 a month for Aussies, not so bad. Topic number 3, and this is a real goodie. You can now be a qualified influencer. You heard me correct. An online university in Italy, which is called eCampus, has introduced a 3-year program just on influencing. So the classes offer a range of different educational topics like psychology and philosophy and TV history and intercultural communication. And the school has really expressed a desire to, quote, fill the current educational gap and to assist students in learning those important technical skills. I have so much to say about this subject, but I'm not going to dive into it right now because this is our topic for the deep dive. So if you're intrigued by this, stay tuned. Our 4th topic is YouTube. It's using AR to allow users to virtually try on makeup. Hello? This is brilliant. I'm actually shocked they haven't done it earlier. So they have this crazy new AR tool. It's called Beauty Try On, which is pretty self-explanatory, right? Users are able to just try on the lipstick from Mac that they're watching a video from. So the way that it is set up is YouTube's interface is carved in half. At the top of the app, you're able to play the video that you were already watching, right? That you tapped onto, that you were interested in learning more from. And then at the bottom, YouTube then uses your smartphone, the front-facing camera, and their AR filters to allow you to check out the different shades of lipstick. I mean, please tell me you're excited like I am. I don't wear makeup, and I know I'm going to be using this feature on a weekly basis. Okay, and our last topic. Instagram stories are turning to invites. This is so exciting. I think Instagram has done an exceptional job of consistently rolling out stickers that intrigue and excite and engage consumers on a daily basis. We know people are spending a lot of time in stories, so why not continually funnel innovation into the feature? So the new invite sticker enables you to broadcast an event to your followers, give them all of the necessary information, and then they get to RSVP to the event. So this is going to be great for everyday consumers who just want to share maybe a party that they're throwing and use it as data, right? Which one of my friends are interested? But for brands, it's even more apparent that you now have the opportunity to throw an event at your restaurant, say, and then really figure out the amount of people who might want to come. I can imagine this working for movies. I can imagine this working for product launches. So if you have questions about this, reach out to your rep. If you don't have a rep, then you need to have an agency like True Sydney who can do all that dirty work for you. Give me a call, okay? Let's dive right into the deep dive, shall we? When it comes to the wild world of social and digital media, there are very few people in Australia with as legendary a resume and impressive a reputation as my next guest. If you don't know the name Taryn Williams, you probably don't have a cell phone or a laptop or ears. And if you don't have ears and you're listening to this podcast, impressive! Taryn is one of Australia's most successful female entrepreneurs. Having founded both Wink Models and The Right Fit, to award-winning businesses that completely disrupted the game. Is it weird to sit here listening to me talk about you?
I love it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
I wouldn't mind you doing it. I actually printed out a page for you to read about me. So you launched Wink Models in 2007 at the age of 21. When
true.
I was 21, I was sleeping a lot that year, drinking an obsessive
being
amount.
Fabulous,
yes,
I'm sure.
I was being fabulous. My hair did look this good. Since then, it's definitely cemented its place as one of Australia's leading commercial modeling agencies with a turnover in the millions. And then a few years ago, you thought, I want more. It's not enough to have one incredibly successful business, and you launched your second business, The Right Fit. So that's a two-sided marketplace connecting brands and creative talent with influencers, which is perfect because that's what we're here to talk about today. Welcome to Clickbait, Taryn.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you for that glowing introduction.
Of course. Taryn did not pay me for that, but your team did. Okay. So today we're here to talk about influencers, specifically the fact that you can now get a degree in it.
It's interesting. It's a brave new world, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to just dive right in. Is influencers a dirty word?
Look, I think especially in Australia after there was a big government backlash about using influencers after someone or some agency foolishly maybe hired not quite the right people for a health and wellness campaign. And then there was a lot of negative PR on the back of that and government saying, we're never going to use influencers anymore. Influencers don't work, influencers bad. So I think, look, we're a little bit on the back foot here. Influencers are incredibly, incredibly powerful and can deliver amazing results if done correctly, obviously. Yeah. If it's, a really strategic approach, if there's great screening, great briefing, all of the things that you would do with any other normal marketing channel. So as long as those things are in place, I think it can be incredibly successful. So I think we're a little bit on the back foot here, and we need to sort of demystify the whole space and I think put some guidelines and accountability in place to give people that sense of trust in using it as a channel.
So maybe you're saying potentially that those guidelines could be an education, right? When you look specifically into what these classes are, right? So this class, this university in Italy called eCampus is providing students with a 3-year course in influencing. And some of the classes are fashion philosophy, language philosophy, TV history, intercultural communication. And a part of that, I would imagine, are understanding regulations, what's appropriate, how to communicate effectively with your audience to make sure they're aware that you're selling something.
It actually sounds incredibly interesting. I mean, 3 years seems like a long time. I think a lot is going to change in the landscape in 3 years. So I don't know how you continue to keep that course relevant. But I do think if you look at a really good influencer, they're like a little mini media production house. They're creative storytellers, they're visual storytellers, they're script writers, they're photo editors, they're video editors, they're models, they're like a little mini media house all in one. Totally. So they're incredibly skilled people. So I think, look, a university degree that can go some way to teaching some of those skills and the art of crafting a story for a brand could be really powerful.
At The Right Fit is a part of collecting influencers, reviewing influencers, determining who is a best fit for the site. Is an education fundamental? Is an understanding of what's appropriate and not appropriate and guidelines critical?
I think that's what separates a good influencer from a great influencer. I think there's good influencers who obviously can create beautiful content and captions and things like that. Great influencers have a really deep understanding of the psychology of their followers, peak times, what sort of content's going to perform, and they work really collaboratively with a brand to find unique story angles and weave messages into sort of an ongoing basis of their feed. And I think you'll notice them, you sort of feel this deep connection with those influencers and you can't quite tell why, but it's because all of their messaging feels so authentic, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. It just feels right every single time, and that's what separates the good from the great.
One of the things that you bring up for me as someone who lives his life on social media is oftentimes the most successful influencers, the ones who dominate The Right Fit, the ones that we see popping up who get the most campaigns. If they had gone to school and learned, quote, best practices, which we just think are bullshit at True, would they even be as successful as they are? That was the first thing that popped up for me.
Yes, and I think, look, we see it all the time with brands as well, where they come in with a very predetermined idea of what success is going to look like. And they can almost kill the whole purpose of using an influencer and the creativity and this beautiful art of storytelling. Obviously, the reason you're engaging an influencer is this person has spent all of this time, energy, building this trust and voice of authority and this audience that deeply believes and hangs on every word they say.
Yeah.
So if you then go, okay, well, we want you to post at this time using these exact words, with these exact brand guidelines, all you're doing is alienating that audience, which kind of defeats the entire purpose.
Followers are like, alert, alert, alert.
Exactly.
This is not their authenticity that I signed on for.
And I totally get for a brand, it's really scary, right? Because marketing has always been like brand first. It's always been, this is our message, this is what we want to say. With influencer marketing, it's like, hey, this is who we are. How can you tell our brand story? And that's really, really scary, I think.
One of the things that came up for me when wrapping my head around what it would have been like to go to school. I mean, everyone in this room would have grown up in a time where you couldn't go to university and learn even about social media.
Yeah.
So in 2006, my university had nothing about digital media, and then 2007, the very next year, introduced their first new media course where you could kind of learn about
the interweb.
The interweb. And so I'm putting myself back in that spot. I am living in Italy, wearing beautiful
Fabulous
flowy
outfits.
shirt, taking these courses, and kind of wrapping my head around the output. So I get this degree and then I'm able to do what with it? I'm not necessarily going out to get a job per se, because so much of influencing is, to your original point, a one-man band, your own business. And so I'm wondering, you're giving advice to influencers who are starting off. They don't live in Italy, so they can't get the course. But what is actually going to help them be the most successful as a business person? Because that's what they're doing, right?
Yes, and that is a very, very good point, because I think that's what a lot of brands and agencies can forget sometimes, that these people are a business and this is their job and their profession. So firstly, for influencers, I think identifying your niche and understanding exactly what role you want to play within that. So are you a visual storyteller? Are you a long form content creator? And what is your niche? Like, are you talking to, I don't know, vegan foodies, or are you an amazing mummy and parenting blogger? Like, what is it that you want to own? And stay really, really true and clear to that, because that's what separates, again, good from great. And I think really great influencers say no to opportunities more than they say yes. They really deeply understand what their niche is and what their audience values, and they'll only work with brands or opportunities that are going to add value, mutually beneficial. So it's going to add value to their audience and they're going to be able to add value to the brand. So I think really identifying what your niche is and staying true to that, and then having like a really clear and concise plan about what success looks like in 3, 6, 12 months. So what is it that you want to add value to your audience with? Is it that you want to inform them, you want to entertain them, you want to educate them? Having sort of a content strategy is really, really important. And then I think once you know those core values and what you're trying to achieve, opportunities come naturally from that. I think brands can really easily identify who you are and what you're trying to achieve. And it just feels like this natural sort of synergy and fit.
Perfect. I am now I've completely switched my vision for this, because I had imagined that this was something that I absolutely wanted to do. I would have totally signed up for a program like this in hoping that I would be able to dive right into the influencer space for so many young people who are growing up on YouTube or Instagram or now TikTok, and they're seeing these celebrities and seeing this life that these people can live because they are celebrities, and thinking this is something I want. Okay, why would I not want to go to a school and learn about that? Now that I'm listening and kind of wrapping my head around what is most important, which is authenticity, which is really something you can't teach.
Correct.
Knowing who you are, hard to learn that in school. I think the most successful people that we've ever seen on the internet were just vomiting into the world exactly who they are without any concern at all. And so, yes, it would be great to understand the inner workings of running a business. And I put quotes there, but I didn't need to, like a true, fully functioning business. But those two things that you've just brought up to me feel like soul searching, maybe a little retreat, or having friends to bounce ideas off of is probably going to be the most successful strategy. Failing often.
Correct, and failing forward. And I do wonder, like, the depth of the course. I mean, 3 years is like a long time. Like, the depth of the course. I mean, if you're teaching really practical things like, Photoshop or editing or caption creation and, storytelling, great. But I don't know. I mean, I just think that this space moves so quickly. As you just said, like, TikTok is now, becoming the next big platform. How can you be, I mean, there's some things that would be fundamentally the same, like understanding consumer behavior and things like that. But I don't know how you manage to keep a course like that up to date when, I mean, how do you train people for jobs of the future when we don't even know what those jobs are going to be yet?
Well, that's why I'm wondering if like a business degree, like at a really reputable university in Australia that focuses on tech in any way, shape, or form, like picking classes that are going to help you understand the larger landscape. So my degree in new media changed and evolved when the media evolved. So it wasn't about Facebook in particular.
Yeah.
It was here's how to market, here's how to evolve quickly as consumers evolve as well.
Yeah. Controversial. I just don't know whether, uni degrees and study is like...
Amen. Not controversial at all.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm never going to be able to work with the university now. But look, I just think, you can get so much amazing practical on-the-ground experience through internships, through work experience, through getting out there and starting your own thing. So I just...
When you first join the workforce, and you have your little resume that you've printed up and you have everything you've ever done. At,
babysitting.
Of course, like 14 years of delegation to my younger brother. You think every grade that you got, every class that you took is going to be critical. And then within minutes at any job, you realize right away the stuff that's going to make you successful, they did not teach you at university.
Correct.
You cannot learn how to be a great influencer, my opinion, now in any course, because the reality is the fail often kind of fail forward, putting work out there, seeing what resonates, evolving, adjusting your content strategy.
Correct.
And of course now adjusting your platform.
Yeah.
That is something that I think across every industry is undeniable. You're never going to learn how to write a really great email or get yourself out of a shitty situation.
Correct.
Until you work in the office and you made the mistake.
Yep. Totally agree with you.
So you create the right fit. You obviously have the experience of working, starting, launching probably hundreds, if not thousands of careers. Why move from modeling to influencer space?
Great question. Yeah, great question. And everyone's like, why? You just built this successful business that you'd slogged your ass off to build. Why would you go and potentially disrupt it with this second business that could cannibalize the first? That seems stupid. So, look, I built an end-to-end onboarding, calendar management, and payroll integration software for Wink. It's got 650 models. It's like herding cats, as you can imagine, like different people, different shifts, different pay rates all the time. So there was nothing off the shelf that I could find. And so I was like, blissful naivety of someone who had never built a tech product. I'm like, I'm going to build my own. It's going to be amazing.
Brilliant.
So went out, scoped it, built it. It was so painful. It was like pulling teeth. It cost so much more than I ever thought it was going to cost. It took like 18 months. But I learned so much through the process and I absolutely loved it. And it totally transformed that business. It removed all the key man dependencies and opportunity for risk and things like that. So I sort of got to the end of that process and I was like, imagine if I'd built this platform to be open to clients instead of just like an internal management tool. And it's while like Airtasker were launching, obviously we were seeing the growth of Uber and Airbnb and all these two-sided marketplaces. And I was like, what if I could connect brands and talent in a more streamlined way, remove the agency process in the middle, and then we had all of these new talent coming to us who were like, on Dancing with the Stars or My Kitchen Rules or, amazing mummy bloggers. And they were like, can you represent me? And I was like, no. It always came down to where would we put you on the website? Yeah. Like if you're not a model and I don't have a category for you, so where would I put you on the website? So I thought, okay, well, if I could unlock this latent supply of talent and the demand from clients and use technology to connect them, I think there's something there. And there was this shift to small bits of snackable digital content, brands wanting really authentic stories and campaigns. They weren't hiring like a 5'11" supermodel for, a car ad anymore. It was like a Eurasian man who could actually afford to drive the car at 45, So there was this push from consumers wanting authenticity in advertising, and then there was this talent who had that exact thing. So connecting them using technology and building the whole platform around a social backbone so they could see the reach, the engagement, and they could amplify that content through people's social channels as well was sort of the overarching dream.
Wow. So actually started more from a tech space than anything. And then just happened to be at a time in Australia where the influencer world was exploding.
Yes.
Because really that exact year was when the buzz in this country starts to dominate. People reaching over 1 million followers across multiple platforms, finding their ways into television pilots and commercials.
Exactly.
So it was perfect timing. What's the future then of the right fit? So Facebook, let's just take a couple steps forward. Facebook doesn't exist anymore. Instagram is a dominating platform that, for whatever reason, fails to connect with consumers because it goes down a brand space too aggressively, or they evolve the platform.
Yep.
And so who knows what the future looks like, but it's not what it looks like today. Does the Right Fit still function in the same way?
Look, I think it's really interesting. I think there's so many new platforms launching, and I think consumers are getting so savvy in what they demand from brands, which I think is amazing. And I think, they should continue to hold the power. This relationship with our phone and any social channel is so personal. Like, it is such an intimate space and an intimate exchange. And I think, exactly as you said, I think if Instagram or any of the social platforms go too aggressively into sort of a brand marketing space on those, they're going to alienate users, and they will go and find a new platform that allows them to have that intimate relationship again. So I think platforms will continue to develop, and they will continue to try and find ways to better monetize these audiences that they have and have captured. Obviously, I think a big part of Instagram removing likes is part of that, to try and get people to spend more time on platform, post more content, engage with more content so they can sell more ad space. So I think platforms will continue to evolve. What consumers demand from these platforms will continue to evolve. And I think marketing strategies are going to have to evolve to better capture consumer interest. So it's going to have to be, really organic branded content that adds value. We're going to have to see influencers, being really, really savvy in how they partner with brands to tell stories. So I don't think you're going to be able to go buy this protein shake and expect that to move the meter anymore.
Well, we have a lot of people who listen to the show who are brands, right? This is an agency. We work with brands on a daily basis at True. A brand comes to you and is desperate to go viral, is desperate to get their message out, right? The questions they always say when they get in a room with you.
Can this go viral?
I would like the entire world to find out about this coffee mug, and I only have $14 to do it. So can you please help me? And that's completely reasonable.
Do you sit in my office and listen to these conversations?
I mean, we love those briefs, to be honest, right? Any opportunity you have to create content that's going to reach a bunch of people, especially for the people who don't have money yet, right? It's not the Coca-Colas of the world, who we would still love to work with. It's the people who have a product and want to get it out that are exciting. But what do you say to brands, especially when they want to work with either your models or your influencer network of experts or just people who are successful on social? They come and they say, I just want to create a really successful campaign. What do you say to them? What is your advice, your tips?
We always say, what is the why? Because so many people are like, oh, we want to do an influencer campaign, or we want to do a video campaign, or whatever. We want to go viral. And you're like, why? What is the why? Is it shifting brand perception? Is it launching a new product? Are you trying to, create beautiful user-generated content? Like, what is the actual outcome here? Is it increasing traffic to a particular page? Is it selling a very specific product as part of your range? Once you go backwards and go through the why, like what is the actual outcome you're trying to achieve, it's so much easier to figure out what the strategy should be. Because then it might not be an influencer campaign. It might be, a bank of content creation, or it might be a Facebook ad strategy. So working backwards from there, because I think we saw it with video where everyone was like, we've got to do video. Video is king. Everyone kept hearing that, and they were like, got to do video, want to do video. And you're like, it's not even relevant for your brand. Like it's not the right thing to be doing. So getting them to figure out why, and then getting them to try and set realistic budgets against that. And, we try and use the example of would you run a TV ad once and then expect it to move the meter for your brand? And people kind of think, well, we've done this marketing strategy, we've shot a TVC, we've got some, print collateral or whatever. Going to run a few Facebook ads, and then we've got $5,000 left. Sorry, I don't know if I'm going to swear.
You can do whatever you want.
We've got $5,000 left. We might do some influencers. Let's do some influencers as well. And they're like, oh, well, now we've just, it needs to be thought about at the start of your marketing campaign. How can you integrate and weave this story with these content experts through that whole marketing campaign? And you can't just pay people to post one-off photo about your mug and expect it to sell out on the internet. So I think setting realistic targets, understanding your why and what it is that you're actually trying to achieve, and then thinking about a broader, more cohesive strategy about how you can, tell a longer term story than just these one-off ad hoc campaigns, which I just don't think resonate with consumers anymore.
Boom. You heard it here first, people. Last question in this influencer space. What's next? So you just talked about the fact that brands come and say, I want to jump on video. If you're meeting with any modern brand today, they're like, stories, I need to be on Instagram stories. I don't know how or where, but get me on there. What's next?
I think stories are going to continue to be popular. I think brands can see, firstly, obviously you can use swipe up mechanisms, which is great. Obviously Facebook have got the branded content studio now, so you can actually see it, say, in paid partnership with, which is great. So brands can put paid spend behind influencer posts and
get access to their information, the data, how it's performing.
Exactly, which is, I think, fantastic. And again, gives transparency to both parties, which I think is what's so needed in this industry.
Yes.
To demystify it all and give people sort of faith and trust that this is an actual marketing channel that does perform if used correctly. So I think that's going to be really, really important here. I think finding niche audiences is what brands are going to be looking to do. So I think they're going to get much smarter in identifying who their target personas are and then building campaigns around those. Instead of going, oh, I want someone with 1 million followers or 500,000 followers and a 4% engagement rate. Awesome, but they could still be totally the wrong person for your brand. So instead of working from a numbers first approach, looking at a persona and customer, what is their job to be done? What is their needs in like a true Clayton Christensen style of what is this person trying to achieve? And how can we best add value to their experience to get them to do that with our brand?
Great. And I'm guessing that they could potentially do that, brands that are listening, with the right fit.
Absolutely. Come to us.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to play a little game before you go. I'm going to get my phone out.
I'm excited.
You know, this is the podcast space. We're trying to have fun here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop onto my Instagram for those of you that are just listening and not watching. And I am going to scroll until I find an ad. Then I'm going to describe that ad to you. We're going to look at it together.
Okay.
We're going to do a little critique.
Okay, I love this.
I think...
I'm so intrigued to see which brands are trying to retarget you right now.
I know. It's going to be terrible. It's like Macca's, fast food.
Loud shirts.
Yes. I think it's really, you said something earlier that I was so happy to hear you say, because I knew that we were going to play this game, which was consumers are savvy. We're no longer these third-party partners that are interrupted by ads, shocked by them, and just consumed by the message and won over and purchase a product. Consumers know when an ad is being surfaced. Yes, they can sometimes be completely won over by its beauty and excitement, but they're also quite critical. Dive into the comment section. We were talking about customer service before we started recording. Dive into the comment section and you will see marketers, people saying like, this person's not resonating with me. I find this copy to be, inconsistent with the way we actually talk. And so that's why I wanted to have fun and just look at these ads together.
So true.
So the first thing that came up is VSCO, which is a editing app, right?
Yep.
A lot of influencers use. The picture is of a young girl. She has a hard drive taped to her face with a Band-Aid. The copy says, edit your photos with VSCO, download the free app now, #VSCO. And there's a download call to action button. You are going through your feed, you're disrupted by this. Do you stop?
Personally, no.
Me neither, which is a bummer.
Yeah, bummer. They've also done an album, so there's like 3 photos in there, which I don't think, and the download button changes based on the color.
Oh, that's interesting. That's the first time I've ever seen that. So as you swipe from image to image in this carousel, the call to action button actually adjusts based off of the tone of the visual.
Yes. And I wonder if you must have been served something earlier in like the funnel, because I feel like download is like such an aggressive call to action. Like, I don't know anything about your product yet. So am I going to download it? Probably not. Like, maybe learn more. Maybe send me some more information. Maybe, I don't know, but download is like I would imagine the later part of their funnel. So they've probably got sort of brand awareness pieces happening, because also it doesn't really tell me like a lot about what this product does.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're not like a massive marketer, you don't work in the social media space, what we mean by funnel is usually brands have the ability with advanced targeting to serve an ad to the masses, usually broadly, have that creative be broad in nature, introduce your product. If consumers interact with that first piece of content, then they can be served another piece of content. And in this case, this is obviously a hypothesis, we're inferring that by the time someone was served this image, I'm this person, they probably know what VSCO Cam is, and therefore they're able to be much more aggressive. My concern is if this is your first, second, third, or fourth interaction with this post, if I'm scrolling quickly And I only am taking the image. I don't look in the top left-hand corner, know who the brand is.
Yeah.
I don't even look at the copy or the call to action. My takeaway is Band-Aid, what's on her face, beautiful girl. I like the idea of not leveraging a kind of standard classic beauty of blonde hair.
Yeah. And I think you can see they've chosen that in all of their, like a little bit, unique, different.
Diversity. Yeah. And I'm not 100% sold that has anything to do with editing. Because that is what the platform, this app is all about. It's about selling an app that's going to allow you to create images, and these images are going to be beautiful. And I understand, probably now that I think about it a little more, this is the platform for young, funky, fresh people who want content that stands out.
Why are you being served this ad then?
What a great question. They probably know that I've downloaded lots of ads like it.
Maybe they're like, I need lots of editing.
Yes. Okay, so we're both a pass on this, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, we're going to keep scrolling, everybody. Producers, let's add in some scrolling music. Okay, guys. So.
Oh, okay. What is this?
It is an old woman or a young boy dressed as an old woman. I'm not sure. Dancing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record this so that everyone who's just listening has the ability to look at this. I don't know what Maxim Sadek is. I'm guessing it is a person. She is happy because she is fully booked with weddings for 2020. Are you?
I don't know what this
with
is.
Learn More. So this is old school advertising in the sense that they're placing something in front of you that's disrupting your feed.
Yeah.
It's
correct.
totally thumb stopping. You're like, what is that?
Who is this quirky old lady?
What's happening? And so in that case,
perform really well.
Yes, we know from consumer eye tracking studies, which are bullshit. For a lot of people struggle with them. That you're going to then go up and want to understand who the message is from. You read Maxim Sadek, and you're like, I don't know what that is. And if I don't know what that is, that probably means a lot of people don't. Then you go to read the copy and it just says, she is happy. Who is she?
Yeah.
And so you might click Learn More.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
I would want to plus out and read more. Like, I'd be happy to plus out and read more of a lengthy caption to understand more. But I'm not gonna learn more.
We're passing on this one too. I'm, as an advertiser, as a marketer, I really want to ensure that one, content resonates with people and excites them, and I think that this excites me. But two, that they walk away feeling like they've learned something about the business.
Totally.
What's the benefit to me?
Yeah.
And with both of these first two ads, I'm seeing the content and I'm going, interesting, fine, check, good job, potentially, but I'm not taking an action.
Correct. It's not going to deliver any ROI for that brand or person or whatever. We don't actually even know what this is yet. So.
And like, how many steps does it need to take for you to question what something is? Because you lose consumers if... To plus out is actually great because you want to learn more, but then to have to go to a website to learn something and then probably take a third click to download or attempt it, you've lost me. Okay, we're going to do one more. Scrolling music. Okay. This is a interesting image. It is of a tiger. It's like an art piece.
Yep.
It says mama, which is maybe why I'm being targeted because I'm a fierce mom.
Tiger mom.
The company is IamFi, and it says new artist alert. We're loving Camille. It's a wild illustration. Shop the whole collection. What are your feelings about this image? So this is just like a typical framed image. It's in a beautiful environment with lots of succulents.
Look, it's visually a very beautiful image. I think they've nailed that. It's nice and clear. It's concise. It's obviously great content. It's high res, beautiful. I am by.
Not the best handle in the world. I really struggle with brands that leverage like cut down versions of their name, or if that is their name, I'm immediately struggling with like, does it represent something?
Yeah.
I can't think of the word right now. Like, what is it when the I stands for something, the A stands for something?
I would like to know who this company is. Like Buy Art Direct, Art Online, Artist Represent. I don't know what it is. I would like to know more about that. Again, am I probably going to click to learn more? No.
What I like about this particular piece of creative, and I wonder if to your point, I am further down the funnel, is I'm a consumer who is very passionate about art, who follows a lot of artists, and who is the type of consumer to take action and purchase something that inspires me.
Yeah.
This creative, the particular image that they're using here is something that I would buy, maybe not with the words mama on it, but if they had a Detta one, why not?
Sold.
And so in that sense, I might take a click. It's all about someone else. So it's all about another artist. They're introducing someone to me, but I actually don't see any human element in it. And oftentimes for brands, that is a challenge. I mean, you would get this from Wink Models and The Right Fit. And from our advertising perspective, when you don't include a person, it allows the consumer to potentially imagine themselves in it. But when you do include a person, it guarantees that they can relate to that scenario.
Definitely.
And
I think a GIF of this could have been really powerful. Like if we could actually see some more of this artist's work, 2 or 3 frames, would have been great, because then you would definitely go, oh, actually, I really do resonate with this artist. I'm intrigued. I'm going to click through. But and also showcasing a person in there.
Anytime you have the opportunity to show multiple scenarios as well. So this is one room. This is one place with succulents. And yes, that particular situation is popular right now. Everyone loves their succulents in their home. But if I was able to take this exact image and show this exact image in 5 rooms.
Perfect.
Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I'm the second one or the fourth one, or I could hang this piece of art in any one of my rooms in my house.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing this game with me.
Yeah.
How exciting.
My team.
So the last thing we're going to do is what I like to do. I'm throwing you on the spot here, right now. What are you obsessed with? Every week we talk about with our guests just the thing that they're obsessed with on the internet. And sometimes it's nothing. Other times it's an app. Sometimes it's a person.
Yeah.
What are you really inspired by this week?
Oh, okay. I'm totally obsessed with, we have quite a few tools, obviously, that we use internally for project management and whatever. I'm totally obsessed with Jira. I would assign a Jira ticket to anything if I could. So it's the tool that we use to build the sprints of work that we're working on when we're building our product.
Yeah.
So it's like a giant project management tool. You raise what's called a ticket, and you will put in the details of what you want done. So I want a blue button added to this page, and this is the scenario. Here's some working screens, and then you can allocate it to anyone in your team who works in our development team. And I just love it. I mean, it's an Atlassian product. They have absolutely nailed the user interface. I love everything about it, and I'm currently just completely obsessed with adding Jira to probably drives my dev team crazy, because I'm just a bit of a rogue loose cannon, but I just love it. It allows me to, if I have I use it on my mobile as well, so if I have a moment where I'm like, oh God, how I could improve this product is adding this thing or changing this or removing an alert here or whatever, I can raise a Jira ticket, I can describe it, I can record video and attach it to it, and I can assign it to someone in my team and they can add it to a sprint. It's just amazing. It means that our dev work gets done so quickly, and it means that we're not missing small feedback from customers or ideas or whatever. You can put things into a backlog or things to come back to, or if I'm solving for a particular persona, I can put it into an epic for that persona. So I just love it. Totally nerding out.
I was just going to say, such a beautifully nerdy favorite of the week. This episode is not sponsored by Jira. This is truly just a passionate call for a platform we love. My obsession of the week is my new iPhone 11.
Oh my God. Is the camera really as amazing as people say?
So I didn't get the Pro, the Max, the most expensive one, because girls on a budget, but I did get the one with 2 cameras. So the difference between 2 and 3 is 3 allows you to create video content that, as you move your camera around, it stabilizes. So it's taking all 3 cameras and pulling them together. What you do get with this phone is the ability to zoom out and see. So if you were to take a picture of this exact room, the selfie that you and I would capture of each other, we'd have to kind of lean in, but you can also pull the camera out and then all of a sudden truly capture the space.
Oh my gosh.
What I was saying to my friends before we started recording here, my colleagues, my friends, was I'm so inspired by taking images. And I think that's what Apple has wanted to lean into, is to create creatives, to build a platform and a tool that allows people like me who didn't go to school, who don't understand photography, to not just be inspired to pick up the phone and use it, but also be inspired by kind of scrolling through and looking at the content. I took some pictures of my kids yesterday at the park, and when I was reliving it that night, the images are such high quality and so in-depth and focused and portrait mode and so beautiful that I am inspired to want to go again and take more pictures and to share that images everywhere. And I have just felt like a part of me is becoming a photographer and believing that I am one and not being shy or like, well, I'm not a real one because I only have a phone. I'm like, well, wait a second. I'm capturing images that inspire me, that move me. And then I'm inspired to share that with other people. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm all about the phone. I'm all about the iPhone 11. This episode is also not sponsored by Apple, but it could be.
I think it's an amazing phenomenon. And the selfie, like the introduction of the forward-facing camera phone, and there's done like so many amazing psychological studies on how that changed us as people. So there's a whole book on it called Selfies.
Okay, girl, we're going to get you on another episode. We're talking about selfies. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Me. Really appreciate it.
Loved it.
That's our show, friends. We will see you next week. In the meantime, don't fall for clickbait unless it's ours. This show is a true originals production. Clickbait is produced by Lily Brown, Olivia Salone, and me. This week, our episode was shot and edited by the marvelous Ramon Minchero. Brand identity was made by Tiffany Han. Music was mixed and designed by Olivia Salone. Social media content was created and written by Tiffany Han and Taylor Barnes. And our fearless leader, Eric Stevens, oversaw the entire show. And a special thank you, a massive thank you to our extra special guest, Taryn Williams. See you next week.